Okay. There we go.
Okay, that's my bad. My thing
No, it's all
literally
good.
died on you.
I'm
Okay.
just happy you were able to rejoin. That would have been so sad
I
if you couldn't.
know. I know
Okay.
my thing died. I'm
Yeah,
so
I'm trying to remember what you were saying, but as you can tell,
I have a
don't.
really bad memory. It's like one of my like worst things about me. So
Same.
I
Same.
could say.
Yeah, I mean, we could just start off with continuing what you were saying about, I think it was talking about silence is violence for one. If you could tell us a little more about that. And while you were actually disconnected, some people did have some questions about that in the chat. They were wondering what you guys do and some of your recent initiatives. So feel free to talk about that.
Okay. So Silence is Violence for One. We're basically like an organization. We advocate for youth rights in general. Whether like we have to like since I kind of like organized it and run it, I'm super everywhere, which is really really bad because I want to do 100 million things. But as of hopefully for 2021, hopefully we're going to be starting getting into advocacy as well as recreational purposes, because like in my cities there's generally nothing to do, and we have like a story behind it because like I've just grown up with like there's nothing to do, so people around here just walk for fun, and then within walking they usually get harassed by the police, they get into
Mhm.
dangerous situations, so just giving people something to do is like something really big for us.
Yeah.
And that's basically why we do a lot of recreational work, but we want to get into advocacy, especially like police brutality and racial injustice, but we more focus on social justice issues within anything, and we just kind of advocate for youth in general, like if there's something happening at school that you see unfair, if there's something happening around the city, within the state, honestly, like just things like that, we just advocate in general.
Hmm. And I know you were mentioning you would like to get into advocacy, and that's definitely something that you guys can do. I have absolute faith in you guys. I know you're going to do some amazing stuff there. What type of like legislation would you guys be passing or trying to get passed?
One of the biggest things I really want to do is rewrite or honestly abolish the police bill of rights, because I've done a lot of research into it, and it's just like I've even had um, a lieutenant. I pretty sure a lieutenant at a police station. I know him very personally, and him himself has told me there are people that he knows like that should be fired, who are not fit to be police officers, and because of their bill of rights they're not able to do anything. And I actually had another survey conducted on people's experiences with the cops, and one of our biggest things, a lot of people are not educated on what a cop can and cannot do, what you like, what are your rights and things like that. So I know a lot of police officers take advantage of people, especially in my city, and I've had friends get like accusations, false felonies on them, and just multiple things. So if I'm able to like just rewrite or do some type of work, I know we've been invited to go to the state house and testify against many bills that like have to do with like police brutality, that has to do with housing infrastructure, that has to do with just things in general within like the
Yeah.
education system, just all of that.
Yeah, and that's definitely the legislation that we need passed, especially I mean, ever since if you think about it, 400 years slavery, so like you can track that history there, but especially now after um, what happened this summer and just the lack of connection this country has, like with all this political polarization, is
Mm-hmm.
definitely something that needs to happen in our legislative bodies. So I really love that you guys are trying to move forward with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this was a question earlier. I just forgot to get to it, and then so we sadly lost connection. But are there some everyday methods that people can execute to resolve these issues that you spoke of? Because I understand some people might not be able to get involved with your organization
Mm-hmm.
specifically, but is there any other methods that you recommend them following through with, whether that's like checking their implicit bias or doing more research?
um Everything things that anyone can do. Honestly, I feel like any of your problems, look into it. You know what I mean? Is it a pattern? Do you know other people that are going through it? What do you see? And honestly, just make this aware to multiple people. I feel like that was my biggest thing. Like, just spread awareness within your area, how small or how big it is. Like, I feel like social media is like a God-given gift to like all advocates, activists, and people in general. And I just really feel like it's something that could do a lot. Like, even just posting or even contacting your local newspaper, writing co-op-ed, anything like that. Just spread awareness, because I feel like that's the best thing you can do for yourself. Spreading awareness for sure, and educating other people on it.
Exactly. And you've led so many of these initiatives yourselves, whether that was interviewing people or the like art showcases that you had. And were there like any barriers you faced? I mean, this will especially be helpful for our viewers who are youth activists too. And do you have any advice on how to like overcome those barriers?
Yes, with barriers, I rarely work with people my own age ever. Like maybe Leah and like the people a part of my organization, and barely, yeah, maybe that's about it. Like barely anyone. So I've had a lot of adults try to manipulate us. I've had a lot of adults lie to us and send us on like a wild goose chase just so we wouldn't get to where we've have gotten to. So I recommend having an adult ally who is on your side and can help you get through it. Because I've had adult allies like sit in our meetings, help us write articles, helped us with our wording before we said anything publicly, give us advice. That's one of our biggest things, just because so many adults don't care or care to listen to youth voice at all, and they won't, and they will shut you down. But you have to be like very sure of yourself to understand, like, yes, what I'm saying is just as important as what they're saying, and to like don't back down. You know what I mean? Like, be very strong and adamant about it, and that's the only way you can like continue on. And also have an adult ally. Those are like the two biggest things I really suggest.
Yeah. And do you find it easier to work with adults or youth? I mean, I have my own opinions on this as well, but I low-key feel like our opinions align, but I would
Okay.
love some insight on your end.
Adults upset me sometimes for the lone purpose. They like, oh my god, it's great what you're doing at your age. Like, yes, thank you, but like, you know what I mean? Like, we're doing like the exact same thing. Like, I don't know what you see is different. Like, it's not just me personally. I've seen this with so many people I've worked with. Like, adults won't take us seriously. Like, ageism is a thing within the working world, and especially in the advocacy world. Like, with my organization and another one called Gen Z We Want to Live, which is in Providence. Those were like, I think, if I'm not mistaken, if I am, I apologize, the only youth ran directed whole entire thing, just youth. The rest have some type of adult leadership and things like that. And I don't like how people, like, I've even had people, like some of my members say like, oh well, they're older than you, so I feel like you should listen to them. Oh, like, that's one of my biggest pet peeves. I feel like since people are older than me, they think like, oh, I have to listen to you. That is not the case. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and also like, I'll be working at the same goal as someone and they look at me as competition. I'm like, no, like, you know what I mean? Just because I'm younger than you, I'm like, no, like, we're doing the same thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't, that's one of my biggest things why I like the youth activism projects, because they're not annoying. I'm sorry, like, I have to say that. Like, they're not annoying. Like, Anika, Wendy,
Yeah.
Aunt Anna, they all treat me like an equal, which is amazing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
just, they irk my soul. I'm sorry. I don't know how else to put it. Like, it's
No,
not that I
you put
won't.
it
I just
perfectly,
prefer
honestly.
not to.
Yeah, you put it
So.
perfectly. And again, for viewers, I will apologize for the motorcycle sounds in the back. But going back to what Zaina was saying, I think it's definitely like essential sometimes to, if not have adult allies, then just have some type of like outside opinion other than youth, but definitely not to the point where it's silencing youth voices. I think when you have youth allies, I mean adult allies that are like really supportive, like the people, like the adult allies at Youth Activism Project, Anika, our executive director, so on and so forth, it can be really helpful, but you always want to find that fine line when you guys are still a youth-led organization. And it is challenging to find that fine line
It's
in
so
this,
challenging
yeah,
because they
in
want to
this,
take over everything. I'm like, no, sir. Like, I'm sorry to break it to you. You can't let that
yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
That's one of my biggest things.
Yeah. And I mean, from what I've seen with your work, it seems really youth led. Like I haven't seen any like adult regulated parts of the work that you do, which is honestly a testament to the amount of power that youth have and the fact
Yeah,
that we don't need, if there's not a seat at the table for us, we'll pull up with our own chair. Like we
exactly.
are
Like,
ready to make it happen.
exactly.
But then I do also realize that, you know, we're living in a pandemic, and has your work been affected by that? I mean, like some of my meetings have become, well, actually all of my meetings, look at me, all of my meetings have become virtual, and like we can't do things outside anymore, and even if we did, it has to be socially distanced. And I was wondering if you've experienced anything similar.
It's one of my toughest things. Like, I've had so many plans. I actually had a plan on July 2nd, I
Hmm.
believe, or 3rd. July 3rd. I was gonna do a really amazing event, and I can't do it anymore due to Corona. And there's so many things that I could have done that I wanted to do, but I can't because of coronavirus. And I literally had one of my friends text me, I think 2 days ago. She was like, "Oh my God, can you please throw another basketball tournament or just do something fun? Like, I'm bored." And I was like, "Sis, like, do you not see corona cases like going up? Like, we're in a pandemic."
Yeah.
So I have plenty of like ideas for 2021 to come. It's just like I have to see how corona works,
Yeah.
because if it's down, then I really believe that like Civ is gonna go very far into the work we do,
Hmm.
especially being put inside the communities. Like, I feel like we could do a lot of things, but corona is just taking me backseat. But I can't completely say that corona has held me back. For the lone purpose, I started Civ because I was bored. Like, not because I was bored, but it gave me so much time to think, and I was like,
Yeah.
well, there's nothing else to do. Maybe I should really go for this idea, and I went for it. So it was one of like, it's had its good, but it's had a lot of bad to it. So
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
yeah,
And then quick point of clarification for viewers, Civ is silence is violence, in
yeah.
case you didn't realize. But yeah, you definitely brought up a lot of good points there. I think it's definitely given us a lot of time to, you know, like reflect and improve the work that we do, but it's also been a little challenging doing it all from within our homes and not being able to actually see people. But that itself is like kind of another testament to how amazing your work is, because a lot of these all of like the community bonding events that you had, um, correct me if I'm wrong, some of them were like socially distanced, some of them were virtual from what I understand.
Um, they were um they were socially distanced.
Hmm.
So one of that, literally having that, I had to have my own COVID like supply team. So I had to make sure everyone had masks. I had to make sure
Yeah.
everyone was wearing hand sanitizer every 30 minutes. I had to make sure that people weren't like infecting each other. I had to do contact tracing. I had to make sure that everyone was just not getting sick,
Yeah.
and like that adds a lot to my load, because like every single thing I do, I have to make sure how is corona gonna pay effect into it, and
Yeah.
how am I gonna make sure people are safe. So
Yeah.
it's like one of my biggest like hassles when it comes to working.
Yeah. I mean, but at least some of these events were able to happen. I understand now with the cases rising, that's
Hmm.
not an option, but at least you had it in the beginning and it was safe. I think that's definitely great. But I was wondering, like, the issues that you were speaking of, well, at least, I mean, I have my own opinions on it, but this is your insight. Um, in terms of racial inequity and racial injustice, do you believe COVID has exacerbated these issues?
Yeah, yeah, I feel like COVID's added a lot of things to it, but I feel like it was just like the water that made the glass like tip over, honestly. Like, I
Yeah,
feel like a lot of these problems were swept under the rug, but with COVID on top, I feel like it gave a lot of people the realization that hasn't hit them yet. So I definitely agree, yeah.
yeah, I would definitely say that as well. And I love that analogy that you gave. Like, all of these problems have been building for years, and
Hmm.
if anything, COVID just put them at that breaking point where they were finally at least like looked at by society. And we could, I think we could definitely say that a lot of these issues have not been resolved by politicians who are just refusing to meet in the middle. But at
Exactly.
least like there are, you know, grassroots organizations such as Silence is Violence that are working to try to resolve them in their own communities. And you did actually touch on this earlier, and I want to make sure I get to it before I forget, but tomorrow is New Year's Eve, and you were mentioning how like you have some new ideas for 2021, and I would love if you could share some of them with us.
Okay, so January, February, and March, we should be our group where we were all invited to testify against many bills that's going to be like coming into Rhode Island. So
Great.
that's one of our things. We
Yeah.
want to do a lobby day, depending how Corona is and like how many people are allowed in the
It
state
could be
house.
virtual.
It could be virtual, honestly. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking of how I'm gonna play into that. Um, I don't know if we're allowed to say this. We have a secret project coming up that we're partnering with other organizations on February 5th. So it's a
The
secret.
excitement's building.
We have a couple of things for our student athletes coming up. We're hopefully connecting a lot of students, juniors and seniors, to colleges, because that's one of our biggest things. We want to help people get into
Yeah.
college in any way possible, in building and forming relationships. Honestly, I've already told so many people a banquet. So we want to do a college recruitment banquet. So we're going to be
Mhm.
working with a lot of colleges, and we're going to be having some of the best players in this.
Oh, I think we lost Zaina. Oh, that's so sad. She was just getting into the amazing work that they're about to do. Okay, let's see if I can reconnect. Well, as we wait for that, hello everyone. Feel free to drop in any questions or comments that you had as we were going along in the chat right now. We're going to give it a few seconds to connect with Zaina. Hopefully she does make it back. If not, I might have to restart the live, which is sad, but it's going to be all right. All right. Okay, let's see if I can message her. All right, there we go.
Okay, I have a really bad phone. Like
It's all
I think
right.
I got a call and I accepted it by accident.
It's totally all right. I mean, at least you're back. I think that's. I was just like heartbroken. I was like, oh no, she's never gonna come back and tell us all these great things.
No, I got a phone call and I was like,
Yeah,
how do I decline this? Because like I
yeah,
have an update. It was weird.
yeah. That'll be my fear too. I mean, from the lives I've done so far, I've thankfully not gotten a phone call, but I feel it coming in the pending future. Like I feel it coming,
It
and I'm probably gonna
definitely
react the same
does.
way you did. So whatever,
Because
it's
it
all right.
pauses and I was like, shit, this is I don't know how else to. And I was like, oh my god, this is paused. I have to like take it out. And then
Yeah.
I clicked the wrong button. And I was like, oh
Well,
my
it's
god.
all right. We all have our tech fumbles, but at least you're back. I think you were talking about, yeah, one of your newest initiatives for February 5th, I believe, yes,
No, that was
where
the
you're
secret
connecting with
one.
colleges.
Okay, the colleges one, I
Secret.
think hopefully in April. That should be
Mhm.
the one in April, the colleges. So I have like some of the best student athletes within the whole state, and we're gonna be having a banquet, just like showing them like, oh, this is how you like this is the process. These are some of the colleges. Have the colleges speak on things, and but like build relationships with them, get to know them, like and like really let them know like focus on school, focus on your sports, and then hopefully like we can help you get like to places like this. So
Yeah.
that's one of our like. I'm really hoping for the event. It was supposed to be on January 4th, but it's not. So I'm super sad about that. But
I have
it
faith.
should be
I think
coming.
it's definitely going to happen. I mean, with the amount of energy you guys are putting into it, like all good thoughts, it's going to happen. And I love
Yeah.
that you guys are doing it, especially now with online learning and the opportunity gap that's, if anything, just growing wider. So it's the work that you're about to be doing there is definitely going to be impactful.
Hmm.
And I think we had a question in the chat, but I lost it as I was trying to connect with you. It's all right though. I was gonna ask that I know we were talking about like the New Year and New Year's Eve and all of that, and I was actually wondering if there were like any initiatives that you felt you did really well this year, or anything that you felt you really accomplished and or didn't accomplish and you wish to accomplish next year?
I want to do more of activism and registration for the next year to come. I didn't do as much as I wanted to this year, because this year I just started it. Like, I didn't expect doing an organization. I only like thought I would just do a protest, but it continued into something bigger than that. So I want to do a lot of more legislation, but I did really bring my community together. I generally do think that, like, I have people text me now, like, hey, I want to, like, I have this idea. Can you help me craft it? And then I see people running with ideas. I see people, like, we've had basketball tournaments, not
Yeah.
just someone talking. We've had other people do the same thing and so many other, like, we have people doing things for their community, and, like, they're growing. And, like, I really think, like, we didn't do it. We just, like I said, I know so
Yeah.
many people who are, like, so talented and they have potential. They just don't see people like them doing things. So I feel like we really helped, like, build that up, that confidence in people. And I'm really, really, really proud of that.
Yeah, I think that representation too. I mean, aside from like the previous representation that we were talking about, just like in the field of advocacy, is inspiring people in your community to really step up and be the change they wish to see, which is amazing. And also like the fact that you were able to like go like throughout multiple communities and get people really activated, which is great. Like I feel like you're
It's,
like embodying youth activism projects like our spirit, which is so great
you
because
know,
it's like we were able to help you and now you are helping so many people and that makes my
it's
day.
so cool. I think we've had people for a lot of my things. I've had people not just from my city. I've
Hmm.
had people all over the state of Rhode Island in general, which
That
is
is amazing.
really, really, and southern Massachusetts. So that's really, really, really cool to me, and I'm really proud of that.
Yeah, you should be. And I realized we actually didn't get the chance to talk about how any of the viewers can get involved in your organization. Do you want to like touch on that real quick, just in case they get interested?
Okay. You can follow my Instagram, Silence is Violence 401, and on Facebook, Silence is Violence colon 401. And there I want to be starting chapters eventually. So that's somehow you can get into it. Or if you just need, like, I want to start a mentorship program nationwide. So anyone who wants to do things like this, because honestly, I generally think Silence is Violence was a fluke. I'm like, I just ran with the wind. So I like, I
I love
really,
your honesty.
I'm being so serious. People are like, wow, you've done so much. I'm like, no, they're just shower thoughts that I ran with. And they're like, so if anyone needs, like, some type of help, some type of mentorship, I can help you craft organizations, ideas, events, anything like that within their own area that they want to do. So I think I'll be doing that very soon to come within January. If you want to, is there anything else people can get involved? If you're in Rhode Island, just text me, and we can work on things together. I have a lot of plans and ideas and events that I want to do. So just contact
And
us.
we'll make sure to put all of Silence is Violence's your social media handles in like probably like the posts of this live. I
Okay.
would try to put it in now, but we're like talking at the moment. So,
Okay.
but I think it's actually really cool that like I was wondering like are there any similar youth-led organizations in Rhode Island or is this like or were you guys like the first one that was like the catalyst to get more youth or involved in advocacy work?
um, okay, so there's Gen Z We Want to Live. My
Hmm.
friend Jay Shell does it. Jay Shell is so much better at this than me, honestly. So I know she has chapters not just in Rhode Island but everywhere, and she's really great. So yeah, she's done so much. Like, she does a lot of similar things towards us, but she does more, I want to say, like, legislation and policy work within the state, which is really, really cool. So
Yeah.
besides her, but we started around the same time, actually. Like, we both started around June, and yeah, we're the only ones that I know of, honestly.
I mean, but at least like the work you're doing is like inspiring so many other students to
Hmm.
try to do some of their own, like try to run with some of their own shower thoughts, if you want to call it
Yeah,
that.
honestly, I really,
I mean,
really,
but that's actually kind of It's really like it's really profound that something that you just think of in the shower can become such a large and impactful organization, and that's amazing.
That's crazy.
Kudos to
No,
you,
like
Zaina.
they're literally ideas that I like
Yeah.
think of, and I was like, okay, like what
There's
if I
probably
do it
like
for real?
there's
Like
probably some quote out there where like talking about how like ideas can turn into great things. I'm not a quotes person, but I bet you there's one out there that you could find.
no,
Uh,
like literally, it's just like literally ask Leah. Like that's what Leah does. She just like we'll think of something and then like for example we'll like come up with a name for something for an event.
yeah.
That's our best thing. Leah's the name person. She comes up with names for everything. We'd be like yeah, like I like that. Then we just go with it. Like we're very like rambunctious and ambitious, and we just go with everything. We like it sounds good to us. Like if we have a good vibe from it, because like that's basically everything we do. Just good
Mhm.
vibes. If we get a good vibe, we're gonna run with it.
Yeah.
So
I love that. I really do. That we need more of that, just positive energy in these troubling times. Yeah.
yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. And speaking of, how 2020 is thankfully ending, and we are going to hopefully enter 2021 with better prospects in mind. I know we talked a little bit about like resolutions and what
Mhm.
you feel you've accomplished this year. Is there anything that you're like looking forward to in 2021? I mean, along with like, aside from like all the, cool events that you're going to be hosting and the
Mhm.
initiatives you're going to be leading.
I really want to see like a stronger movement within the state.
Mhm.
I've seen a lot of people do great things with what's happened so far. I've seen people like really show like their voice and show who they are and advocate for what they love and things. And I think that's great. But I know there's so many people who are holding back for that, and I'm really excited to like. I really want to help like move people to be like their truest like ability, like what they really can be. Like I really want to see a lot of that, and I'm super
Yeah,
excited. Like I want to see people like just do what makes them happy and like do something for
I
themselves.
think we
So
all need that
I really
after
want to
this
see that.
year.
Like I'm
Yeah, we all need
super
that.
super duper excited for that. And I just really want to see Corona go away. Like I'm if that happens, I'm like
I feel you. Yeah,
that's gonna be
I
so
feel
cool to me.
you. Yeah. Um, oh wow, I just lost my other question that I had. But speaking of what you were saying about like seeing more youth getting involved,
Hmm.
I know this is like this is literally a question that I ask almost every youth activist that I talk to because it's like it's something that Youth Activism Project tries to answer every day in the work that we do. But what do you recommend doing for youth who want to get involved in advocacy work but just don't know where to start?
Um, Google. That's what I did, honestly. I just had keywords youth, advocacy, student advocacy, activism, leadership, things like that. I looked it up and I found youth activism projects, and I just clicked a bunch of buttons and it worked out actually. Like I said, everything I've done so far has been a fluke and they've worked out. Um, don't be like me maybe unless you're spontaneous, honestly. Um,
I love
do
you.
a
Like
little
I
bit of
love your
research.
energy. I
No,
love this energy.
I'm super
No, so many people
spontaneous.
show up
Like
just like so prepared, and I love how you're just genuine and like really like your answers are really raw. And I think a lot of our youth activists who watch this later on will benefit from this, knowing that like they're not alone and you don't need to be like insanely prepared. Like as long as you have the passion, like you, Zaina, do, then you have the ability to make it work. And I'm so happy that you came here today. Uh,
no, I actually. So you sent me the questions. I didn't look at them. I was going to. I should have, but I didn't. So
It's
like
all
all the
good. I think I
answers
love
look
that
great.
more though, because I send it as like a pre in case they want it, sort of
Hmm.
thing. Because I know some people like to be prepared, but I love how like you were able to answer on the spot and really tie it to your connections, which not only your connections but your experiences, which is definitely something our youth should hear about. And
So,
I am realizing it is nearing 8 o'clock.
oh my
This
God,
has gone
really?
over for. Oh, are you
No,
saying?
no, no. I'm charging this.
Okay,
Like I said, my phone's really crappy. So,
it's all good.
yeah, I don't prepare myself for a lot of things because I like being raw. Like, it's really bad. Like, I don't prepare for anything. I have really bad memory. Like, if Leah's still here, she'll tell you like she remembers everything for me and I don't. That's why I like working with people because they remember all the important, like the very vital things. Because I'm very like I'm go with the flow and I take everything very lightly because I feel like that's how things should be taken. Like just go with it. So that's what I do. Like, I spoke at a protest that had over 10,000 people in
Mhm.
Providence. I did not prepare for it because I forgot. Because I took a nap when I was supposed to, and then I had to go. And I was actually late. I'm late to a lot of things. But yeah. Like, just be raw. Like, just do
Yeah,
what you want to do. Like, I feel like just go with the flow. That's like one of my biggest things when it comes to my work too. Like,
yeah.
I just go with it if I like it.
And I mean, like, you make a very solid point. Like, if you don't need to be like, paper prepared if you're already like prepared mentally and
Mm-hmm.
emotionally to fight for what you believe in. And I love that you embody that. And all the amazing work you do really shows that that type of energy, that type of spirit in advocacy work is really what makes it important, not the nitty gritty, like, oh, did I write this and did I create this Google sheet, but really, did I fight for what I believe in? Did I speak up and help those who couldn't? And I really love that you brought that up. So thank you so much.
That's my biggest thing, honestly.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, that's like you put that into words. I can't put a lot of things into words because, like I say, I don't prepare. So, I'm really like I ramble a lot. But yeah, that's like perfect. Like,
yeah,
really, like, are you being like very pure about it? Like,
yeah,
are these the intentions that you came to the table with that you're leaving with? And that's one of my biggest things. So, like, at the end of the day, I feel like anytime I fight for things, I always make sure like these are the intentions I came with, and I'm leaving with like what's the same thing. And like I try to do that
period.
with everything I've done. So I'm
Yeah.
really proud of that.
Yeah, I love that. I see that it's 8 o'clock, and I feel so bad for keeping you away from like all the festivities that you have going on. So I'll make sure to wrap it up. Thank you so much again for coming out today and telling us about the phenomenal work that you do. And for viewers, if you have any last questions, comments, concerns, feel free to drop it in the chat now or reach out to Youth Activism Project later on or Zaina, and we will make sure to put her social media handles in the post after this, along with Silence is Violence. They're, I believe, Instagram and Facebook, correct?
Yeah,
Yep, we'll make sure to put that in as well. And yeah, this live will also be posted on all of the app's socials, so feel free to rewatch and share it with others. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Zaina, any last few words?
I don't know, stay chill. That's Leah's thing, but Leah's not here, so stay chill. Yeah.
Yes, stay chill. And Happy New Year's, everyone. Well,
Happy New
early New
Year's.
Year's, I
I'm
guess.
gonna see you guys next year. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is. That really is. I mean, good riddance, though, to 2020. I think I can speak for all of us when I say that.
For sure. I really hope 2021 is like 2016. 2016 was a great year. So I just
I
wanted to
don't
be a
even
great.
remember 2016.
I remember being happy back then. So
Oh.
yeah.
Well, yes, we will strive forward with those positive hopes in our mind. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much, everyone, and thank you again, Zaina. Other than that, have a great night, y'all.
Good
Bye.
night.